Hello and welcome to the award-winning To Hull and Back podcast. I'm your host Nathaniel Whitto and we are proudly sponsored by Kingfisher and Old Zoological Bar in Hull. I'm joined by Will and Joe and we're going to be talking about the transfer news, the FA Cup and a rather disappointing defeat at Sheffield Wednesday on New Year's Day. So Happy New Year to all our lovely listeners. Will, how are you feeling, soaring into a new year? I can see in your description you're looking forward to something in the summer.
We're another year closer to death.
Oh, that's just delightful, and hopefully you just get more optimistic throughout the year. Joe, what are you most looking forward to this year? Yes, they are, certainly. We're going to be rebranding to Berlin and back. That's what we've decided, rather than to Germany and back. We were just having a bit of a sort of creativity session before this episode. But yeah, Joe, what are you looking forward to this year?
Well, I would first of all like to say it's an honour to be part of the team. My first episode as an official member of the team, so delighted to be here.
You've been on so often. I forgot you're actually now a full-time one.
Yeah, well, the last one it wasn't confirmed, was it? But yeah, delighted to be here permanently. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes for the opportunity, and I also am looking forward to the Euros, especially because the first game is after all my exams are finished. So that's smashing. Lovely stuff.
And for the record as well, just because we've brought on Joe, that doesn't mean we haven't finally kicked Dan off. He's still around.
He's the boss. He's really, the sort of DNA of the podcast. So it's a shame he's not with us.
He did create it, so I can't really mind.
Yeah, I suppose so. Was that a good intro? Well, I hope that every intro is as good as this
one. It wasn't until you questioned it.
Oh, no. Oh, we're 2.5 minutes in now. I don't think it's the intro anymore. We're just the main meat of the podcast. The best thing about this year for me is that I can finally say that the next Mission Impossible film is next year, rather than in 2 years' time.
The best thing about this year.
I'd say so. So long as Hull don't. With the way Hull have been playing recently, I'm not sure anything great will happen this season. But I don't want.
I've booked my hotel just in case.
Yeah. Well, for the FA Cup run, of course.
Of course.
If not the playoffs.
And I used 2 stints just opposite Wembley.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk about it, but we did play Sheffield Wednesday on New Year's Day.
No, let's not talk about it then.
Well, it was dreadful. It's the lowest. It's the lowest point of the season, I'd say, in how I felt about the performance, about who we lost to, with the injuries, the league position, sort of, or missing out on an opportunity to go, I think, joint 5th. And I couldn't really get to sleep afterwards because I was so angry at the refereeing decisions. It might also have been just, getting back to work after a nice holiday break. But
that was the most scary thing.
Yeah, what on earth went wrong?
Just about everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's covered. Let's move on.
We didn't start well, but to be fair, there's many games where we haven't started well. We didn't start well. We let Sheffield Wednesday have a lot of the ball and have a lot of the chances, let them come at us way too often. Then Darren Bond decided he didn't know how to judge what a foul was, gave Morton a red card, and then as a result of that, you can't really judge the team after that because we're a man down. It ruins it. You don't not to say that Sheffield Wednesday wouldn't have won. They probably may well have done the way they were playing. To be fair, but having the man down means we have pretty much our game plans out the window, and we haven't really got much of a chance going forward. And I think defensively we were very sloppy in the second half for some of those goals. We could have done maybe a bit better even with 10 men. But yeah, it's hard to look at that performance as a whole because of the Morton red card and just affecting it so much. Thankfully, we rescinded because common sense once in the FA, common sense prevails.
For me, you can the way I've always said it is, yes, the red card was stupid, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we were utterly dreadful before it. And the red card gave us no chance of getting anything more than a point. It's not to say we would have got less than that. It's not to say we would have got more than that, but it just meant we couldn't get any more without it, if you get what I'm trying to say. But like you said, Will, common sense has prevailed. It's been rescinded. Was Darren Bond refereeing in the FA Cup this weekend, or was he in League 1 and 2?
No idea. He shouldn't have refereed at all, really. I think demotion of a referee is it's not a punishment. It's a punishment for fans of the lower teams and the actual teams themselves, really, because why should they have to put up with a ref who's done poorly in his previous game?
The chair, actually, I'm just looking on here. The chair of the PGMOL, Mike Foster, is standing down.
Oh,
if that means anything.
I don't think that'll mean anything in the long run because you'll just have you'll have another person who doesn't know what he's doing in the position as well. I imagine.
Well, I mean, Howard Webb came in to do something at the top of the refereeing organisation this year, and it's only got worse. I thought he was going to improve things, but no. So
Absolutely.
It's the whole system, isn't it, really? So just talk about that a little bit more. I think from some angles and at slow speed, it doesn't look great, but I think the main reaction was that just complete shock that it was given as a red the first time you see it at normal speed.
He wins
twice
the ball,
or three times with both legs. Yeah. Shocking. Not the worst decision of the game, but yeah, Joe, were you shocked?
Yeah. I mean, my vlog was 15 minutes long because of it, because I was just wittering about the red card for so long. I said, as soon as I saw it, I said when the referee pulled a card out, I thought, all right, maybe yellow.
Yellow.
But then when it was red, no way. No way. And then I saw a still image on Twitter straight away. I saw a replay on Twitter straight away because I just went looking for it straight away. Wins the ball. Then I saw a clearer replay. Again, wins the ball. And then I saw on the Sky coverage the difference between our captain and their captain. Louis Coyle pushing all our players away to try and reason with the referee. Barry Bannon and Josh Windass straight in the referee's ear, get him off, essentially.
To be fair, I know we're like call. I imagine our players would have done the same if the reverse was happening. Every team does that now, to be honest, or most teams do.
But then what I found the best bit about it is Sheffield Wednesday fans saying, "Oh, look how good Louis Coyle is! What a captain, pushing all his players away," whilst Barry Bannon's in the referee's ear begging for a red card.
No, I thought it was an amazing recovery by Gassama to go from having his leg completely and utterly shattered to then scoring a pretty decent goal in the second half.
And I say cutting it off the left-hand side with Cyrus Christie at right back again.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah, not
the best time
ideal.
at the moment, Cyrus.
He's in a tough patch, isn't he, Christie?
I mean, as I said at the time, he hasn't lost 1 yard of pace. He's lost about 5 or 6.
Yeah, and he'll probably keep losing them. He's going to be injured for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So, and of course, 5 weeks at City means 10. So yeah, maybe we have seen him play for the last time.
Credit there, Nathaniel. It's 15. Come on.
Yes, 15, and then injured for 5 weeks as soon as they come back. That's the standard thing. The one that really pushed me over the edge was when Alfie Jones was pushed in the back at from a corner and then collides with the player in front of him, and the ref sees this and thinks that Jones has fouled his man even though he's been pushed, and then they got the other end and make it 3-0, kill the game. That was the worst thing for me.
Can we just stop whinging about the Wednesday game and move on to better things?
Yeah, I mean, Twine, great penalty. That's a positive. Matty Jacob.
The ref gave us something.
Yeah, finally.
Either, by the way,
it wasn't the penalty, no.
No, because it was they talk about it being the sort of sleeve, the upper sleeve of a handball, and that doesn't it hit his kind of chest first, and then his arm. It wasn't the best decision.
Put it this
really.
way, I think if there was, God forbid, VAR in the Championship, the red card would have been overturned, and that penalty would have been overturned soon.
And we would have got a penalty, hopefully, for the Jones one. But yeah, that's 3 pretty rubbish decisions in that game.
just move on from Wednesday now.
Yeah, but then
I agree with Liam Senior saying that Darren Bond is a very good referee.
I think he was more saying that because he didn't want to get fined again.
Yeah, good tactic. Very good tactic.
Yeah, and speaking of Sheffield Wednesday fans being obsessed, I mean, maybe, I don't know if they're watching this. I know, but I've received various direct messages on Twitter mocking me for my 5-0 prediction. I mean, firstly, I never do the predictions, you know. Have you got any for your 3-0 prediction, Will?
No, because everyone knows to do that every week.
But see, well, yeah, but I don't take mine seriously, so I think I'm just going to stick to 5-0 now, which will take even longer than your 3-0, and is even less likely to get me points because we're not going to score 5 goals. So I might just stick to that. But there were some positives. Wilkes didn't score, so that was positive because he scored against Cardiff in the FA Cup this week. So glad he didn't get his first goal of the season against us. Jacob played. He didn't do anything, really, but he played.
A little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know why. Did anything important happen with Jacob in the Birmingham match? I don't remember. No, but and then Aliar looked okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Can I just say about Malik Wilkes quickly? 2 of my close friends are the 2 members of the Malik Wilkes fan club, and one of them missed the game because she'd fallen ill a couple of days before, and the other one was sat behind me when Malik Wilkes came on, and I can imagine that the row and the household were jumping for joy when his number came up on the board.
It's a weird. I'll be honest, but I mean this is hypocritical because there's some players who were useless that I love. It's a weird hill to die on, the Malik Wilkes one.
About a quarter of the content we've ever put out has been about Malik Wilkes on this podcast, to be fair. So, to be fair, it is particularly weird to be obsessed with a sort of kind of underperforming Hull City winger, isn't it? Could never be me.
One or both of them might be watching this. So,
but I think I've got over the James Scott obsession now, so it's all fine.
You just have to be obsessed with that Millwall now, don't you?
Yeah. Honeyman, yeah. So, shall we just move quickly on to the magic of the FA Cup? I mean, there's nothing magical about 2 trips to Birmingham in a season, but we drew with Birmingham, played okay, did better when the substitutes came on. Jacob got his goal on his full debut. Well done to him. He will probably start on a Friday. Well, I think he has to because all our other players are injured. So, yeah, what did we think of this? Because I thought Birmingham, they had 3 big chances, took 1, and then for the entire last kind of hour of the game, offered nothing. And it was just waiting for us to score. And we've had a few home games like that. 1-1 at home isn't like Hull City under Liam Senior. That's never happened before. So it was a real surprise. Will, thoughts on that draw?
I thought it was a slow start from City. There was obviously the goal came.
It's the second time you've said that today. Slow start for City.
Yeah, it's almost like we're very. It's almost like we do it almost every game. To be quite honest, it was a slow start. I mean, but from the gate we got a warning shot when Jukovic sent it wide somehow from the penalty spot, and I'm not quite sure how he managed to do that
because it's rubbish.
It was that rubbish. A couple of minutes later, drama.
It's rubbish with his feet.
From no defence, any centre backs just didn't seem to react to it and let Jukovic put in a very nice header. But to be fair, from that point on, it felt like Birmingham were maybe a little happy with after that big spell, because then I can't remember who it was. Was it Dembele who hit the bar about a minute later? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, from that point, Birmingham kind of they didn't fully sit back, but they seemed quite content to sit with their lead for the time being.
Well, every time wasting from the 55th minute, that tells you all you need to know.
Oh yeah, I think when the second half came along, there was definitely going for it. But I think from the moment, like after they hit the bar, they seemed to sit back, and then in the second half, really went for it. City grew into the game as it went on, like they normally do. They sort of had a lot more of the ball, started creating chances. Second half makes the changes that were desperately needed, to be honest, because the players who came off went, for the most part, pulling their weight. Connolly should have scored well earlier than we did. Sharp showed some nice attacking intent, which we've needed. And it was nice that Everidge decided to cock up in the last minute and I'll just gift it to Jacob to join his granddad in the goal scoring list for Hull City.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Sorry, I was just on a chocolate break then. That's all very well said. What did we think of debutant Billy Sharp's debut? I've said it twice there, but had a few nice touches. Very big shout for him. Cheer from the crowd when he came on. For some reason, it feels like, obviously, a lot of the players we've signed are famous, but he's extra famous. It's like a celebrity playing for the team. Is that a weird thing to think? I guess he's just been around for so long. He's been at so many clubs. Just feels like it's weird.
It's because at our level, the Championship, he's essentially a legend at that level for the amount of goals.
It's like the Ronaldo of the Championship.
I won't go that far.
Okay.
I think though, in terms of his position awareness and his link-up play, it was absolutely second to none. And I don't think I've seen a player with that positional awareness play up front for Hull City in a long time.
Tom Ings.
Now that's a hill I will die on.
He's probably, in terms of actual as a striker, ability-wise, he's probably technically the best one we've had since Abel.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's not at his peak anymore. But
That's the main question mark. I mean, 2 years ago, he scored about 14 goals in the Championship. Last year, only 2. Had a few goals in the MLS. Yeah, I think as a player to bring on for the last 20 minutes, as we did against Birmingham, the last 30 minutes, I think that's pretty much perfect. And yeah,
that might not be his role in the next couple of games.
No, with Lynn Dunlap injured, true. But I guess I think
you will be missed.
Well, I mean, Philogene will be back. We are going to sign players. Yeah, we are 1 point off the playoffs. We're still in a very good position. We just should be in a great position. That's why it's frustrating. We should really be looking with the games we've had as playoffs as like if we didn't get playoffs, that would be a complete travesty rather than, we're trying. I mean, what else? I mean, is a cup run for Hull City at the moment really important? Because the amount of games we've got, obviously winning the game would have meant we have another game in the future, but at least it's a positive thing to get further in the cup. Whereas at the moment, lots of injuries. Do we need the extra replay?
Yeah, winning the replay though means we'll have an extra 2 games.
Yeah,
rather than just an extra 1.
We should have just not bothered.
I'd rather have lost than drawn, to be honest with you. If we were going to get 1 goal, I'd have preferred not to just get 1 to equalise. If you get what I'm saying. If we're going to score, I'd have liked 2. But
it was important to not lose the game for the sort of team's confidence and for Jacob as well. I think great for him to score. I guess other than maybe Sharp getting him off the mark, although he knows what he's doing in front of the goal. But I guess Jacob's really the best player. Could have scored a Vaughan. But yeah, Will, you're not really sure?
No, I'm just upset at the lack of care for the cup there appears to be in this. I don't care if it's a replay. I want us to be in the cup and do a cup run regardless.
Well, I want us to win every cup game we have. But
I would rather us draw and stay in the cup than lose and go out with it.
I wouldn't necessarily. Is a draw to take it to a replay staying in the cup though?
Yes, because we haven't gone out with it yet.
Yeah, if we hadn't scored, we would have gone out.
But I said it on. Thomas Frank said they should scrap FA Cup replays, and I don't agree with I don't agree with that at all. I think FA Cup replays are a good thing, but as a fan, where in the position I'm in with Hull City at the moment, they're only a good thing if we've got a better draw than Birmingham. If we drew, for example, Maidstone, who were left in the hat when it got drawn, if we drew them in this third round and they forced a replay at their ground, cool, that's fine. Should we have beaten them on paper? Yes. But have they done well to force a replay? Definitely. And that's where the cup is magic. I can see why Thomas Frank's annoyed about Brentford versus Wolves going to a replay, because they'll play each other 4 times this season now. But the FA Cup is about more than just the Premier League. And on the whole, cup replays are a good thing. That's my position.
I like the suggestion that for teams that you can agree to have a replay, or I guess sometimes that wouldn't really be helpful, or just that both teams, if they both say, yeah, we don't want a replay, then I guess that's fine. Then people say it has to be a level sort of competition, but having the whole concept of football is that obviously home games are easier, but there's nothing in the rules that makes it easier for a team at home to win. So I think, if neither Wolves or Brentford want to play a replay, to do one is a bit silly.
I would say to them, it's in the rules. Suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah, but it's the thing is, for Premier League,
a squad of 60 players can't deal with an extra game in the season.
No, I think for Premier League teams, especially Brentford and Wolves, an extra game in the cup, because they haven't already got, those teams haven't got European competitions, and they've already got bigger squads than teams in the Championship. Teams in the Championship already have to have 8 more games.
So the argument makes more sense for a championship, for a football league club to be upset than a Premier League club.
Yeah, it does. And, with the amount of more games, are going to have more injuries throughout the season.
How many championship clubs, how many managers in the Championship do you see complaining about it, though?
Rossini won't be complaining, but I'm sure he'd
none of them do.
Rather not risk getting more injuries. But because I thought they'd already got rid of them, because, of course, when we played Everton a few years ago, that went to extra time. I guess it was post-COVID.
I was gutted when we didn't get that replay.
Yeah,
I was been good. So gutted.
Generally, though, playing Birmingham again, very dull. And I mean, if we go to Birmingham and win on penalties after all that, and then we get like Norwich at home, how boring would that be? That'd be very dull. But yeah, I hope we do go on a cup run, though.
A positive out of losing the replay, though, would be there's no game on the 24th, which is an extra week for injured players to come back and not miss a game.
Yes. Southampton are already through, so we won't be playing them on that week regardless.
Yeah, because we've seen that Philogene being injured at that point very bad, because there was double the amount of games. So yeah, it's good to sort of postpone the games when there are injuries, in a sense, not have that extra one in midweek. What else about? We were talking. Let's talk about a negative. Jason Lakilo. Everyone on Twitter has been talking about him. Me and my friends, because I said he'd score against Sheffield Wednesday, and of course he didn't. But he only was on the pitch for 35 minutes.
Sheffield Wednesday.
No, but he was only on the pitch for 35 minutes. We had 10 men, so we'll give him another chance. Hopefully, he plays well against Birmingham. This is the opportunity for him to show what he can do in the cup. Slightly less pressure, perhaps, in a league game. 90 minutes, see what you can do. And I was like, okay, let's see if he beats his man once. And 90 minutes, 100%, he did not. And that's not me being cruel. That's me giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying, go and do something. And then 70 minutes does nothing. So,
to be fair, I was going to say, he didn't play 90 minutes. He got hauled off after 70.
Yeah, but that's because he hadn't beaten his man the whole time.
Yeah, because he didn't do what a winger needs to do.
I mean, beating a man's one thing, but he had one really rubbish shot. I think it didn't really look interested again, I'd say. Alea, slightly better, did beat his man. No end product, though.
I found it funny that we played Lakilo out there and then he went off, and we put Aliar out there and he didn't do much better really. And then we put Conley out there and almost the first thing he does out there is give us the curl.
Yeah, I've been saying it for the whole. I mean, maybe not to you, but I've been thinking it. Why don't we try Connolly on the wing? Because that's what he used to do at Brighton. He used to cut in and score.
Delap's been so good there. That's why.
Delap's been good there, but when Delap was up front and we were desperate for a winger, it's working pretty well now with Delap on the wing. He could have done that and have Connolly up front, but for whatever reason, he wasn't playing.
He also wasn't going to put Billy Sharp on the wing because that's completely insane.
No, he wasn't going to do that. But yeah, I thought Connolly actually did pretty well there. Vaughan, Joe and Will were talking about how Vaughan did well. I thought he was okay. One awful shot miles over the bar, but other than that, that was sort of a blemish on decent performance.
Conversion that he tried.
Yeah.
You could tell he knew that was a missed opportunity as well, couldn't you? Like when the subs were going on, you could see him like looking up thinking, oh God, can't believe I've put it that far over.
I think it was Morton who ran over to him really quickly to make sure he wasn't too upset, but that's probably more embarrassing than if someone leaves it, because you know it's bad if someone has to come over to you and say, you know, don't worry, keep going.
Just been telling him to get back in position.
Yeah, after that, yeah, that was a rubbish effort. Maybe just going and shouting at him. Yeah,
Harry said to me and someone else at an under-21s game this season, he was waiting for Jim Sims to come out, and he said, and I said, I've still not scored yet. Do you think I'm due a goal or not? And I said to him, Harry, I think you'll get one this season. So far,
I said one.
Yeah, so far that hasn't happened.
It's a bit of an insult, really. You'll get one this season, although he doesn't really play that much.
If he keeps coming off the bench and he keeps playing the way he has, he's bound to get opportunities to at least try.
Yeah.
And I think really that game really should have put him above Lakilo in the pecking order, really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we were talking about it before the episode started, his comments Messina did or didn't make in the press conference. Was he referring to Lakilo? Who knows? But yeah, at the very least, I don't know if we're getting rid of him, but he will be above the
I don't think he might hint at something, but he would never overtly refer to like a singular player unless they did something pretty terrible, because that's just bad management. That's bad management. So and he doesn't come across as that sort of person at all. So I don't think he would specifically call out a player. I think it's more probably aimed at several players who haven't really shown what we know they're capable of often enough. And Lakilo is probably one of those players, but he isn't the only one who's not shown up when it's been needed, to be fair, throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. Nsheps commented, did we see Dembele do that rainbow flick? Yes. That was pretty funny when he did that.
Just and then immediately the only skill I can do on FIFA.
I just do sort of ball rolls. I don't do proper skills.
Ball rolls for me.
Yeah.
With the odd little
for me, it's the only skill I know is the rainbow flick.
He's also saying that Billy Sharp did beat his man and get a cross in better than Lakilo all match. So maybe Sharp on the wing isn't such a bad idea.
One of the first times he got the ball, he was driven out wide and he put it across goal. But I would rather him be at the end of that cross than the one creating the cross.
Precisely. It's just a different sort of ball game with him in the 6-yard box waiting for it, because you feel like he's got that knack of getting in the right places, so I'm sure he'll get some goals in those sort of games.
You've seen that often this season, people referencing, why have we got rid of Oscar? He was great at just being in the box at the right time. You sure about Oscar now? We've got Billy Sharp.
Yeah, but I mean, we still would be higher in the division if we were.
Would we?
Had Oscar, surely?
Would we?
There would have been draws. We would have won, right?
Would we?
Really? There's no guarantee.
No, there's no
guarantee. Hypothetically, you can't say for certain we would have been higher. He might have got his leg snapped against Norwich for all you know.
Oh, true.
Actually, I think he left after that game.
Even if he played the same amount of games, and I mean, Oscar is injured now, but even if he had been injured at the same
It's
time
worth
for us,
mentioning he hasn't played since October, I don't think, anyway. So.
no, there still would have been one game.
Was off the bench against Bristol City at home, end of August.
Yeah. So, I mean, Owen's saying who would we want in the cup? Maidstone, right? I think anyone would want that. Easy, hopefully easy win, good away ground to get to, hopefully.
It's not easy, it's the FA Cup. You have to, I don't know
it's still Maidstone.
It's still the FA Cup.
Can you imagine Philogene against Maidstone?
I bet Stevenage, even League One Stevenage, turned up to Mason's ground, and I bet a lot of their fans were like, "Oh yeah, they're only National League South. We'll have them easy."
Nah, we'd murder Maidstone.
No,
there aren't any lower teams left in it, are there?
There's not been as many upsets as there was as in previous years. It's been a bit disappointing, to be honest, the third round for the most part.
So there could be a big one. One of Eastleigh or Newport will still go through, though.
Yes, that's still a nice lower league club. Hopefully Eastleigh of the two, but they're both lower division sides.
Anyone in a different division I'd be happy with, because if it's a Premier League team, that's a chance to sort of test yourself in lower division. Hopefully you can win, but just in the cup you don't want to be playing teams you're gonna play anyway. The worst draw would be if we won and then we played like whoever we're playing the next week.
But Watford is probably the worst draw.
Watford, yeah, or Norwich or someone like that.
Imagine we draw Southampton away.
Yeah. Matt saying, did we miss?
That actually would be the worst one because that's the game we're missing for that. So you'll get all these people who've cancelled their journeys to Southampton, and then the draw gets drawn and we're at Southampton anyway.
Enship saying, where do you know where Maidstone is? I don't.
Clearly, because you said it was easy to get to.
Did I? No, easy win, hopefully. No, I don't know about easy to get to.
It's in Kent.
Yeah, it's quite low down in the country.
So not easy to get to, right?
Isn't it like? Yeah, it's like right in the middle of Kent as well.
It's in the middle of Kent. It's about 30 miles from London, I want to say.
Where's Eastleigh then? Is that closer? No. Well, I only know where places are based on football teams, and I haven't really got to National League level yet.
Eastleigh's another very southern team. They're not far from Southampton.
We want to play Scunthorpe. That would be a good cup tie because they're
out of the draw.
Yeah,
so it is January. Shall we just move on to talking about some transfer rumours? Because I feel like, getting an away game at Birmingham.
I don't think you mentioned Matty Jacob enough, to be honest.
I was just gonna say, can we just do Matty Jacob mention?
Matty Jacob had a great game first of all. I think he was the best player on the pitch, to be honest, with City, and it was nice to see it. He mentioned it in his post-match press conference. He was like, he wasn't sure why he was that far forward at that point, but it was nice to see him score and obviously following his granddad's footsteps. Scoring for Hull City, playing for Hull City. It's only the second granddad ever that's played for Hull City as well. So it's a nice little.
Who's the other one?
You're not going to know, so what's the point in even telling you? Because you're only.
Yeah, but some person on the pod might know.
Well, maybe it could, but they only played like a couple of games for us. It was Matt Bloomer, who played for us in like.
Oh yeah, Matt Bloomer, great player.
You don't know who Matt Bloomer is? Lie and get. He played for us 4 times, I think, 4 or 5 times in 2001, and his grandfather played for us back in the 40s. So nice try. There's no chance you would have known that.
No.
On a similar note, dad and son this time, Stan Ashby on the bench.
Yeah, Ashby was there. I was hoping we went maybe. Obviously, he's asking a lot. If we had been like 4 or 5-0 up or something, for example, I would love to have seen Stan get on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. And then we've had 2 brothers as well this season, haven't we? On the both sat on the bench next to each other with Rocco and Louis. So
Rocco and Louis, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a good goal from Jacob. At that time, you need the extra player in the box if we're chasing a goal. And he created the goal, didn't he? Because
he had
of that forward run.
Creating it as well.
Yeah.
It was like Jacob Greaves sort of thing, maybe teaching him a thing or two. Left back dribbling
They were both from the same academy class, to be fair, so they both came through together. Matty Jacob is 22. I think he's older than a few fans don't actually think. He's a bit older than
yeah.
I feel like he's been around the academy setup for a while.
Isn't he older than Aliyah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's older than Aliyah, yeah.
And you think Aliyah's been around, this is his 3rd season, so it feels like he's been around for a long time and he's older, but
he's only played about 10 games though, hasn't he? So
yeah, pretty much. So can I move on now?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you can. I'll let you.
Excellent. Okay, so there's let's talk about the very important but maybe slightly less sort of headline catching potential signing in potential new goalkeeper that we're in talks with. Not an agreed deal, but hopefully will be. 23-year-old Croatian goalkeeper Ivor Pandor from Fortuna Sittard in the Netherlands, which was where Ajan used to have some shares. But he won't have known about this player because that was before this player was here. So played the whole last season in the Netherlands and on loan, and then playing again first choice goalkeeper there. I mean, that's a fairly decent standard of football, but it's another one of those leagues where the top few teams are really good and the bottom teams are kind of really bad. But if he's a younger keeper, I mean, I have nothing about him at all, but you're thinking you want a young keeper that's sort of been grown up in the academy, more used to playing this style of football that Rossini wants, whereas Allsop may be good at distribution, but I'm not sure that from an early age he'll have been told this is the way you play football, this is what Pep Guardiola does, play out from the back. So from that perspective, a young keeper is maybe what we need.
Just to play devil's advocate to your argument, Nathaniel, haven't we already got 2 of them? One out on loan, one as 3rd choice at the moment.
Yes.
Granted, neither of them are ready, but haven't we already got them?
I think the one out on loan is more ready than the 3rd choice.
I have no confidence in Lototala, really. And yeah, someone playing in the Netherlands is probably going to be better than them, but they're still prospects. Would it mean Ingram, probably not Allsop, would it mean Ingram could be on his way?
I think for Ingram going through, I think it's more if we bring him in, it allows us to learn Lototala and Robson out, maybe even Owen Foster as well. I think for Ingram to go from first choice goalie to maybe to like even 3rd choice goalie in a season is a remarkable thing, and he's not done anything particularly wrong. So we'll see how it goes. It might not even come off yet.
Yeah, it's all just transfer rumours as it stands.
Yeah, but that's what we've got to talk about. We've got to fill the time somehow. So, I mean, I guess he'll be a good signing, but I have no idea.
We know nothing about it.
The other keeper, wasn't there? Dragowski, who was linked with us.
Another one linked to Leeds.
Yeah. Leeds don't need any more keepers.
Melier, Darlow, and Clarkson, they don't need any more.
And we don't need another player that we want to sign either, because of course we wanted Darlow and he went to Leeds instead. They don't need Dragowski as well if we do want him. But then again, who knows? There are some rumours that the club would like to sign and then are trying to sign and then will sign. Some of them are complete nonsense. It's very difficult to know where along that sort of spectrum some of these lie.
It's why you should. It's why people when they read transfer rumours, they need to just read them as they are, rumours, and don't instantly assume, the club is after that player. No, just assume that the club might go for that player. We don't know for certain. You'll find out for certain when they go for that player.
They are could, not wills.
Yeah, but there are certainly some players that you link to that, even if the club isn't after them, the club would want them. Whereas Nathaniel Mendes-Lang from Derby, obviously, I don't know why we would want him. That was a link from last week.
We didn't want him.
Yeah. So it's not even worth
why
considering.
we want him. We didn't want him.
No, precisely. But I mean, if you see Ryan Kent, he's a good player, whereas Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, we're sort of looking a level above that now with the sort of players we're getting.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit more money than that. That's a sort of Alam era signing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've signed a couple of players in recent years who were maybe lower as well.
Yeah, but not 31-year-olds from the league below when we're desperate for a winger, especially when we have players like Philogene. I don't know why we're giving Nathaniel Mendes-Lang.
So 37-year-olds from America.
Yeah. See, that's that. I thought that rumor was ridiculous. I thought that was made up, and then we signed him. So
did I.
I hope it works out. And yeah, I mean, pretty decent start, and hopefully maybe we can bag the winner on Friday.
The main thing is, it's a rumor. Treat it as a rumor until you see something more concrete about it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of rumors,
don't instantly go to the club and go, announce him now, announce him now, announce him now, over and over at every tweet, every single post. Like, shut up.
To delete
it's not going to happen.
My tweets.
Just because you've messaged them doesn't instantly mean, fuck this, we're going to throw our transfer policy out the window and just say something because Dave down there on Twitter said, please say it.
Hashtag announce Carvalho.
Yes. So, well, speaking of rumours, some people were tweeting that Dele Alli yesterday. No one has actually tweeted that. It is even a rumour. I don't know where that came from. I mean, I posted a photo of him, but I'm just getting on the bandwagon at that point.
From you then, didn't you, Dave?
No. I saw a tweet about him before I posted the photo of him. So, it was not from me.
I see nothing in that one, personally.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Who tonight, Nathaniel? Josie Altidore.
No, got Bertrand Traore ready to go. I've got a photo of him saved in my phone. So Rossini has confirmed we do want to sign Manuel Benson from Burnley, but I think we've talked about him before. Ryan Kent, from just Turkish sources, heard that we perhaps want him.
It's been a rumour since summer, though, in it as well, Ryan.
Exactly, and an understandable one. English player at Fenerbahce, winger. We'd like to sign wingers.
Not doing particularly well at Fenerbahce either.
No, he's not even playing, so I guess that's why we could sign him, because he would want to play somewhere else.
No, he was in the squad tonight. I know that. So if any rumours that saying that he's already on his way here were a load of rubbish because he was in their squad tonight. I mean, he could be setting off straight after the game if it's true, but it's not as such.
So there is a sort of, again, like we had for the Gene in the summer, a sort of mystery player that's pretty much a done deal, which may or may not be a young winger from a Premier League club, but it's still a little bit fuzzy. Fabrizio Romano.
It's this lad from, he plays for PSG, he's called Kylian Mbappe. He's out of contract.
And that's come from a man who sits in the press box, by the way.
So
no, don't do that.
But Joe's already mentioned him. Fabrizio Romano has said that we're one of the clubs trying to sign Fabio Carvalho from Liverpool, who was at Fulham 2 years ago. You can find my goal compilation I made of him on Twitter. I should probably make a Benson and a Kent one just to make it fair. But because we don't really know who or what we're signing, when, and for how much money, or on loan, or whatever, shall we just instead?
It's almost like it's the club who sign the players and they want to keep it their secret until it's confirmed, isn't it?
It's just boring that way. But rather than that, shall we say Kent, Carvalho, Benson? Which one would we rather sign if we could only get one?
If you could only get one of them. If
we can only get, and they're all sort of loan signings for the end of the season.
Well, of the three, you'd say Carvalho, wouldn't you? Really?
Would you?
He's played in the Champions League this year.
I would say Carvalho of the three to play in the Championship. Absolutely, I think they're all three are fantastic players, but he's just got a bit more experience and a bit more ability at this point in his career than the other two do.
Yeah, I mean, Kent's played an awful lot of European games for Rangers as well.
For Rangers, yeah.
Has Kent ever played Championship?
Barnsley.
Well,
He played for Barnsley years ago.
You could argue the SPL is Championship level at times.
Yeah, 16-17 he was at Barnsley, wasn't he? 2018 Bristol City, yeah.
I think, the Scottish Premier League is generally EFL-ish level, whereas Celtic and Rangers are very clearly very good teams.
Ruining that league, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's no competition. They do well in Europe occasionally, so they're decent enough teams. But, it's kind of difficult to know.
They'd be mid-table Premier League clubs, is my view.
I think I'd maybe want to lean, because we do have Twine and Tufen that can play that 10 position. I think I'd lean towards Benson myself. But Carvalho is probably a better player now, having played for Liverpool and Leipzig than he was when he was playing at Fulham. So looking at his Fulham season and the goals he got, maybe that wouldn't necessarily be fair. But I'd be very happy with any of those three.
Yes, I would as well.
Ideally, we could get Carvalho as a number 10 and one of the wingers, and then we're set. But yeah, I think we've not heard that we're signing a left back or a right back, whichever one, yet. And that concerns me a tiny bit, because we do really need one of those. I think Christie being out injured as well, it makes that another priority.
Again, just because you haven't heard it as well doesn't mean it ain't happening. For example, this player who we've agreed a deal for, there was nothing about it until a couple of days ago. There's still 23 days at least in the transfer window. So who knows what comes up?
Yep.
I think of those three as well, Kent, Benson, and Carvalho. We're going to see definitely two of them.
I'd love to see
these, but I think we're definitely seeing two of them.
Ooh, and that's coming from someone in the press box.
No use of the words "I think." That doesn't mean they are.
No. Yeah, I think as someone who's not in the press box, but sometimes people DM me on Twitter for no reason.
Probably better sources.
Yeah. I think one of those, I feel like they've been mentioned a lot, and we're a good team, and Rossini and Adrian and Tan have a lot of, they're pretty attractive in that footballing sense. Adrian's, in Baz's articles, they're always talking about how they're sort of convincing players to join us. I feel like we will get one of those, I hope. But then...
Does the injury to Liam Delap mean we go for another striker? That
Panic! Get Abel back.
Yeah.
He has just left Penarol. Yeah, that is very true. I don't think we will. I
think he'd happily rely on Connolly Sharp and Tyrell Sellers-Fleming as...
Yeah, I do as well. And maybe even if it came down to it, because I know we did it a couple of times last season, play Tufan up front.
Yeah. Traore comes back as a false nine if Delap's still out. Yeah,
I could see him doing that again.
Fine as a false nine, maybe. Aliyah went up front against Sheff Wednesday when he came on.
Aliyah's still in the team. I'm not saying I don't think he's the greatest going forward because his decision making is. He is a forward player who could play up front in the middle.
He's a striker by trade, isn't he?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether we'd need one. I guess because of the way Delap plays, Connolly and Alder, we've seen that a little bit more often from Connolly and him playing on the wing against Birmingham, but Sharp is not the same type of player as Delap, so maybe that would change it. But yeah, I feel like we might just be able to scrape by because hopefully, so long as Delap's not out for months and months, we might be able to scrape by with him for a month or so without him. So perhaps not. And I think the money, if there is money, I don't know whether we'd be able to get another loan striker without our loans we're already aiming for.
was going to say we've always got to remember how many loans you can have as well, because you only have a certain number of loans to actually play in the side.
I don't think we're going to spend money on a third choice striker.
Is there a limit on how many players loaned in total you can have? Because I think the limit's, what is it, 6 in the team at once? Because like I remember under Silver, we had loads, and then like he couldn't fit like Markovic in the squad one week, or was it Mbakani? I can't remember, because he'd already used like El Abdelawi, Ranocchia, and Dai, Evandro, Nias.
I think the EFL and the Prem have different loan rules, but there is some crossover in how many you can have in a side. I can't remember the exact numbers, I'll be honest. But
I feel like it might be 6 and then 5 in the squad for a match day.
There will be a loan spot coming free anyway, because Ruben Vinagre is on his way back to Sport.
It's on the notes. It is on the notes. Shall we just take a moment for Ruben Vinagre? That was a moment.
Yours and Ant's choice for best signing of the summer back in the preview episode.
Not of the summer, of our summer, not for the whole league.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant.
Longman was the best signing of the summer for the whole league.
It is worth mentioning when we did those predictions, as I said last time, we hadn't signed Connolly, or we hadn't signed Philogene, we hadn't signed any of the deadline day lads.
The thing is, I would have been.
It was pretty much Vinagre and Delap we'd signed at that point, and that was it.
I still would have made myself look stupid, because I would have been more excited about Twine than Philogene.
We hadn't signed Twine at that point either.
No. Yeah. But out of the two, I was more excited for Twine, I guess. But I feel like, to be fair, Philogene has played better than he has before, whereas Twine has not played as well as he had before. Ish.
I think I said on here, to be honest, I was equal hype for both Twine and Philogene.
You were.
I've said that previously, because Twine is a great player at this level. Just hasn't. He has got better as the season's gone, but he hasn't. He just still needs to kick on a little bit. But there are rumours he's going to go this month as well.
For me, signing of the summer's Bora.
Oh, yes.
For the under 21s.
Has he been?
He's been all right. He's been one of the better ones in a wretched run of form, which is
pretty poor season. Yeah,
a load of players come in. By the way, I would say he's been one of the better ones when he's had chance. He's getting better week by week.
I bet half the people listening to this don't even know who we're talking about.
Who's Bora Idinlik?
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Bora Idinlik. What a
He's
player.
not even been on the bench once yet, has he? I don't think.
No. He's been up at Nottingham and trained with the first team a few times, but nothing more than that.
Such a weird choice that move.
No, maybe they thought it was Kent. They got confused.
Yeah, Ryan Kent and Boy, they're really similar names.
They just, like when you're buying a ticket at City, you can get a seat from that stand and it automatically assigns you one. We want a winger from Fenerbahce on loan. And you've got two choices, and just, I don't know how transfers work, but if it worked that way,
Probably not.
Surprised. Probably not. So I think generally the main thing is that the players we've been linked to are all of a pretty good caliber, and put it into perspective, the players we were getting linked to this time, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it's,
Gavin White, Dan Crowley and Jordan Flores.
Oh, wonderful. What a beautiful
Dan
January.
Crowley.
Dan Crowley.
We signed Jordan Flores on my birthday.
We'll always have his substitute appearance against Fleetwood and the Papa Johns.
No, he hadn't even signed by then.
Oh, okay. Whoever it
How
was.
good he was.
Lincoln.
Was it Lincoln? Yeah, we'll go with Lincoln.
Yeah, we'll go with
It was in that season.
Bum.
He did play there twice, though.
Well said. Well, let's move on to the game on Friday. Norwich are in 13th place. They're essentially, they're only a few points behind us, but they're a little bit even more inconsistent than we are over the course of the season. They've had runs.
They were hot and cold ridiculously.
Extremely. So I think this is a game that could go either way because they've both got good players. I don't really have much to say about Norwich, so we're just going to jump straight onto the best part of the podcast.
Did you
which
put
is
Jacob at left back? So it could just be Jacob Greaves?
No, I did not. That looks cool though, doesn't it? Doesn't that look good? No, Jacob's at left back because he scored in the last game, and you know that I don't really know anything about any of these other teams or even our team. So if I know that someone scored, I know that's good, and they get in the lineup. So I'll just read it out for the listeners.
Tell the audio listeners what is actually happening here.
And then you can berate me. So the combined lineup for this week against Norwich is Allsop in goal, Jacob Greaves, Alfie Jones, Stacey, Morton Tufan, Gabriel Sara, who was the Norwich City Player of the Year last year, Connolly on the wing, Rowe, who's got 10 goals for Norwich, and then I think it's Uji Huang up front.
No, he plays for Wolves.
No. That's Lee. That's Lee Huang. I think. Yeah. There's two Huangs in England, you know. So, Joe, you've gone very far away there. Thoughts on this lineup?
Greaves. Jacob Greaves.
Well, that works though.
No one has noticed this at this point.
Well, he's never played next to. He's only played next to Greaves once before, and that was, just against Sheffield Wednesday. But he wasn't on the lineup, was it? So, because he came off the bench.
We need to sign like a defender who's called like
Alfie.
Stephen Louis, who's a centre back.
Yes.
So we can have Jacob Greaves, Louis Toyle.
Yeah.
Shall we? Well, I heard Will make the point whilst I was crying on my bed about that. Yeah, audio listeners, the graphic came up. We saw Matty Jacob at left back, and both Will and I just had a little mini death.
I thought I'd done it wrong, and that I just put Greaves in twice for a moment. I'm glad I didn't.
Well, his dad's going to play for us again, isn't he?
No, I mean,
I don't mind it. He was a good defender, but
I think Norwich have got two standout players in Sara and Rowe. Other than that,
Rowe was a guarantee. You can't not pick him.
Yeah, and I thought, well, Delap might have been on the wing, but put Connolly there because he played well on the wing. But I mean, wingers recently, the last few weeks, have been really difficult to put in. Lots of these teams seem to have really good number 10s, but not wingers. So, yeah, I mean, Norwich, is it a must-win game? I'll say that because I haven't got any actual insight.
I hate that. I've got to the point where I hate that term now.
Is it a game that we really have to get 3 points in?
I would, yeah, probably. But at the same time, I just hate that term because technically every game's must-win, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I feel like it isn't the stereotypical must-win because Norwich are a decent side, and obviously they beat us in the opening game, and they were pretty decent in that game, even though it took a dodgy bit of reffing at the end just for them to actually beat us. I think City, to be fair, because of recent results, City kind of do need to get a win.
I think because the next games are Sunderland and Southampton away, those would be very tough. We need the 3 points on the board.
It's Sunderland and Millwall now.
Yeah, unless we draw Southampton in the cup and we get through.
Good. We don't have to play Southampton for another week.
Unless we draw Southampton in the cup and we win against Birmingham.
Yeah, well, I don't care about that because that's not a league game. That's not quite as important. But, that's good. Actually, that works out pretty well. I'm glad we've got an extra... I'm glad we've got a replay. We don't have to play Southampton for another week.
No, we'll have to play midweek instead, which is even worse.
For the fans, but in terms of the team, I think the more time until we play Southampton, the better. We actually stand a chance against them without some of the injuries.
I get that because they are on the longest unbeaten run in Europe. It's probably a bad time to play them any time soon. So.
But they'll against the plucky Tigers. We can end that run.
You decide what side you're on here. A minute ago, you was like, "Oh no, we don't want to be playing Southampton," and now you're like, "Oh no, against the plucky Tigers, they'll lose."
Well, I'm completely delusional.
Choose a lane.
Okay, we are going to walk the league. That's the lane I'm going to have for the
I'll
next
take it.
minute or
Carry
two. Predictions, because I really have nothing good to say about Norwich.
Well,
we're going
let's
to
face it, Daniel. After your speech earlier in the podcast, we know yours is 5-0 and we know Will's is 3-0 for Norwich. So
if Nathaniel's going to start being silly like I am, I don't think I can keep doing it. He's just
Well, I'll beat you at your own game and then I'll win.
well, no, because you won't, because we're not going to win 5-0.
Yeah, and we haven't even won that many games recently. No. Okay. 5-0 though.
What's your actual prediction?
What do you mean actual prediction? How dare you?
How dare I?
5-0.
Just absolute.
We've got Billy Sharp. No one's scored more goals in the Championship than him. He knows where the net is.
I mean, most footballers know where the net is.
Yes, he knows how to find the net.
Again, I think most footballers.
Yeah, 5-0. That's what I'm going for. Joe, thoughts, prediction?
Should we go to Will first? Is he going to carry on his 3-0? This is what I'm more interested in.
You can change it. I'm taking on the burden.
But it's worked every game. And no one really actually cares who's listening.
True.
Screw it, 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it's not happening, and I can't wait for some Norwich fan to find this and clip it and post it, because it's hilarious when that sort of shit happened. Because I find it funny that happened after we lost to Wednesday, and you, Nathaniel, moaned, even though you had done it to Rotherham only a few weeks earlier, when they all was like, "Oh, we're going to beat City."
True.
It's called karma.
True.
I'm going to say actual serious prediction for me. 7-0. I'm kidding. 2-1.
That's a logical
which way?
choice. Very, very clever choice.
2-1 to us. Up the target.
That's 3 wins. We're completely delusional after the way we've been
No,
playing
you're
recently.
completely delusional.
You just said 3-0. How's
But
that more
also-
delusional than 5? That's not any better.
I mean, it is. It's more likely.
Okay, do you want me to change my prediction? Yeah? You want me to change it?
You're backing out now, are you,
You're
coward?
making me do this, are you? Yeah? Okay. 4-0.
It's actually more sensible.
A tiny little bit. We have scored 4 goals this season.
Yeah,
Twice.
exactly. That's why it's more sensible.
Yeah.
It's still incredibly stupid.
Yes, on Sky as well. The Sky curse.
Can I quickly mention?
We always play bad on Sky, except every midweek game's on Sky now, so it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, red button doesn't count. Everyone knows a red button doesn't count. Don't you bring that up. No one's counting the red button games. Come on.
I'm not happy with Sky. This game was meant to be
when it's Sky Sports main event. That is when we lose.
Is it even on main event when it's the championship?
Yeah. Well, you know, the actual televised Sky game with the commentary and the pundits and stuff.
Sorry. When did Beaker arrive? I thought I was talking to Nathaniel.
It's been about 10 years since someone called me that.
No, I'm pretty certain. What was our last game on Sky before Wednesday? Didn't we win it?
I don't know.
Because we won against. We was against Stoke on Sky, and we won that.
So Wednesday, Middlesbrough.
And we won that as well.
Oh, well, it's almost like it's a silly thing to suggest. We're just scarred because for years we were awful on Sky.
I think there was a Sky curse, but I think we're sort of past that now.
Yes,
to be fair.
It's an easy excuse that
I've
also used at times.
Yeah.
We just lost a game, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't think the cameras being there genuinely affects whether you win or lose a game.
No, probably not. Probably
I
not.
am massively disappointed with Sky, though. This game was meant to be on my birthday, and I was going
Wow.
my 18th. I was going to get, I was going to have my first legal pint in a pub before a game, half time, that kind of have a beer at half time, that kind of thing. But no.
Sometimes beer tastes better when it's not legal.
You advocate
No, when it is legal.
I mean, it's
everyone
been many
listening.
years since it's been many years since it wasn't legal for me.
Just so we don't get arrested, we're not insinuating that you commit crime on the THAB podcast. We are an anti-crime podcast.
Go drinking even if you're only 12.
Just disclaimer.
Because even then, Nathaniel can go drinking then.
Humour. Very good. I think before we, tell listeners to commit other types of crimes,
before the authorities get to us.
We should wrap this up. No, please don't. Or at least, don't say that it was our idea.
Set of fires.
This is getting worse. Thank you to everyone who's not committed crimes in our name. And we'll be back next week after the 5-0 or 4-0 demolition of the Canaries by the Tigers. And thanks for listening, and we'll be back very soon.
Cheers.